Yo, what's good, everybody? And thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry's Divorced Sistas review. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, then you already know what it is and what it always will be. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell somebody to tell somebody if you choose to. But if not, just sit back, relax while we get into this messy thing. Now, as you can see, I do have a disclaimer on the screen right now because this was somewhat of a heavy episode, or it dealt with extremely heavy topics. So I just wanted to make everyone aware in this video, I will be talking about sexual assault and suicide, and that may trigger some folks. And if it is a trigger for you, I just want to let you know because this may not be the video that you might want to listen to. So again, trigger warnings, just letting you know you have time to click off. I thank you for your support if this is not the video, that you would want to listen to. But for those who have stayed, we're about to get into it. This is season 1, episode 6, entitled Heavier Than Words. And that was the perfect title for this episode. So I am going to deal with the character of Vaughn and that situation so I could just go ahead and get it out the way. I might offend some people with my honesty in this video. And if I do, that's fine. It won't be the first time, and it definitely won't be the last. So I'm going to talk about what I wish what would have happened. I am someone who is not fond of the character of Vaughn. I don't like him. Now, in this episode, Vaughn calls Bridget. Well, he sends her a text message. And basically, he lets her know that because I don't have you, I am going to kill myself. And I thought that that was incredibly just horrible to send to someone. And I am a person, who has been on the other end of receiving something like that. It wasn't a text message, but it was a phone call from one of my best friends letting me know what she was about to do. And to be in that headspace is something totally different if you've never experienced that. So to see Bridget's response and her reaction, and even Rashida telling her, like, you need to take this seriously because you just have to, because you can never be sure if someone is playing or they are being, serious about what they are stating that they're going to do to themselves. And I felt so bad for Bridget in that moment because that's just such an unfair and incredible weight to put on someone. Because I'm not with you, I don't have you, this is what I'm going to do. So when she calls Vaughn, he basically tells her, my mom don't care if I'm alive. You left me. Nobody wants me. And, Jeff spoke to him as well. And he was basically giving his woe me, why me. And I was going to say, I hate that I'm minimizing it like that, but that's just what it was. And everyone has a story. We all have moments where we have felt alone. We have felt betrayed. We have felt things have been done to us unjustly and unfairly. And with Vaughn, it's hard, not that I don't have compassion, but it's really hard for me to have compassion for people who are just lazy as hell and just expect everything to be given to them on a silver platter. And when I look at the character of Vaughn, I do wish that Tyler would have given us an opportunity to actually like the bastard, to actually grow with the character, for him to actually have some meaning to us. I can only speak for me. I don't like him. He has no meaning to me. I don't care if we ever see Vaughn again on this show. I personally don't care. Now, I don't want his end to be the way that it was, insinuated. However, I don't care about him. It would have hit different if it was William or someone, like that. But because it was Vaughn, I don't really care. Also, it's the fact that men like Vaughn, I'm going to say men like Vaughn, he strikes me as a type that because he feels so alone, he craves attention. And this was his way of doing it. Yes, we did hear a gunshot go off, but I honestly do not believe that he took himself up out of here. I think it was a cry for attention, a vie for Bridget to take him back. And I even hate that I feel that way, but that's what I honestly believe. But I guess we have to wait until next episode to find out. I'm done with Vaughn. Okay, we moving on. So let's deal with Rashida. Rashida's storyline was super, super heavy. So we know that we ended last episode on a major cliffhanger because Myron called Jeff and he was saying, honey, can you talk? Are you in the car? So when we get to this episode, we find out that Myron thought he was calling his wife because he just hit redial, but he actually called Jeff. He's on speakerphone. Jeff let him know, hey, my wife looking at me sideways. Rashida can hear everything that you're stating. Rashida really wasn't in the mood. She went in the house and Jeff had to keep telling Myron, I'm fine. You don't listen to me. I said, people like that, I'm assuming that Myron is Jeff's armor bearer. Those who are in the church world, you know what I'm talking about. These are kind of like I'm not going to say your protector, but they're kind of like your right-hand man. They are there to assist you, to protect you, to watch out for you. And he gives me the vibe that that's what he is to Jeff. Also, I just think he's a little overbearing, overprotective, and he doesn't know his damn place in Jeff's life. And sometimes it appears that he even tries to supersede that of Rashida in his life. And I'm not too fond of that. I don't like it. Even if he does not have any romantic feelings towards Jeff, I'm going to need Myron to know his place. Because right now, he acts as if he doesn't know. So, Jeff is in the car. And he just can't understand the importance of him not opening the door for Rashida. So he's in the car and he's praying. And Tiffany ends up calling his phone because she's trying to reach Rashida and Rashida has not been answering. And so in this moment, we find out that when Rashida was in college, she was dating this guy. She thought she loved him. They went to this frat party and he closed the door and was holding it shut so that his frat brothers could sexually assault her. I thought that was a horrible story. It was so sad hearing it. And unfortunately, that happens to too many women on college campuses. And the fact that Rashida was a victim of that, but she's not a victim. She is a victor because she overcame it and she did not allow that to take control of her life. So once Jeff finds this out, of course, there is a huge wave of compassion that comes over him towards his wife. When he goes to talk to Rashida, she's not in the mood to talk. And before we get to that point, Tiffany basically tells Jeff that it's over. If I know Rashida and I've known her longer than y'all have been married, she's in the house looking in the mirror, trying to convince herself not to leave you. But if I were you, I would go in that house and pour my heart out. So when he goes to talk to Rashida, she doesn't want to hear him. And I definitely can understand that. And it was in this moment that everything that has been plaguing Jeff, he began to reveal it. He began to reveal his jealousy, his insecurities. And some people may have mixed emotions about this particular moment between Rashida and Jeff, but I think it was needed. And unfortunately, a lot of times when you are married or you are in relationships where, the man is looked at as this standard, or he has a position of power, but not knowing a lot of times you could be in a position of power and you can be insecure. You can be jealous. You could feel that, hey, I have to work extra hard for people to like me. When it comes to my wife, things just go so easy for her and I don't like it. And instead of me being open and vulnerable with her, I'm going to choose to make her pay for what I believe are my inadequacies. And I believe that's what we have been watching since episode 1 of Divorced Sistas. He has been very short with her, just disconnected. He has not been warm. He has not been loving. It really felt as if he was just going through the motions. And now we know why. We may not know everything, but we know a little bit of it. Now I'm going to take a little pause and side note, because some of y'all, not all y'all, because it's very little, but there have been a few who was coming on my channel. Now I don't mind if people were saying they thought Jeff was gay. I get it. That he was on the down low. I understand why people were thinking that way. But it was one person in particular, and you might be listening because I just might pin your comment. But he was basically saying that, and I believe he was referring to me, or I have to go back and read it. But something about, if you believe that Jeff isn't on the down low, you're just as delusional as Rashida. Now, let me just say, being someone who has consumed more than enough of Tyler Perry's content, I know how he writes. Tyler Perry wants you to assume. He wants you to think. Tyler Perry is like a magician. He's painting a picture, taking your attention or placing your attention where he doesn't want you to see, because he's working on something on the other side. And that's exactly what he did with Jeff. As you know, if you have been listening, I have always stood on the fact that I never thought that Jeff was on a down low. I never thought that Jeff was gay. I just believe that Jeff was prioritizing the church and the business of the church above his wife and his children, his family. And now we know why, because he is a man who is dealing with his own inadequacies, his own shortcomings, and his own insecurities, so on and so forth. We also find out that Jeff was in the foster system. I don't know how long he was in there, but he did state that he aged out. And I believe you age out at the age of 18. So he does come from a background where maybe he didn't feel loved, where he wasn't given the attention that he needed, where he does not know how to be a husband and a father like he needs to be, where he is void of affection, so on and so forth. So I am interested in getting to know more about Jefferson's character. But baby, the thing that had me rolling when Rashida asked Jeff, "Are you attracted to Myron? Are you having an affair with him? If you were attracted to him, would you tell me?" Jeff was offended. That man said, "Are you asking me that question?" That man said, "I promise you on the lives of my children, I am not attracted to Myron or any other man. But there are some women in the church who could get it." That man did not say that. I'm playing, y'all. That man did not say that. That man said there are some women in the church who I am attracted to. And Rashida was like, "Like who?" And he began to name them off. And he got to one sister, and Rashida was like, "Ugh." I said, "Baby, let me see her. I want to see that one. The one that Rashida made the special effects sound to. I want to see that." But overall, what I will say with Rashida and Jeff, I'm just glad, y'all, that we actually got a conversation. I am glad that this man is actually being honest about where he is. "I love my wife. I want to be with you. Ain't no other woman I want to be with. I only have eyes for you. But this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I'm going through." And the way that man got on his knees, I will open every door for you. I said, "Baby, you better beg. You ain't through begging, Jeff." Now, I ain't gonna lie. If I was Rashida, I probably would have crumbled too and gave him some, just like I'm sure she did. I get it, sis. But we got to make him beg a little bit more. And things are different when you married and you're going through, things with your spouse. It's different when someone is just your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whatever the case may be. Marriage, you really have to work at it. It is something that you have to put your all into, and it's not going to be rainbows and snowflakes all the time. It's going to be some hardships, and we're able to see the hardships. Now, I'm going to deal with Bridget just a little bit. Bridget, I forgot the man's name, but sis, he trying to holler at you. But let me just say, sir, the way you're going about it, it ain't the way. We already know that Vaughn ain't no good for her. She knows that as well. Don't lead with that. If you want this woman, I'm going to need you to show her why you're the one she should be with. If you're trying, I'm going to just give this free game. If you are trying to approach a woman or vice versa women, if you're trying to approach a man or whatever your preference is, if you know they with a no good nick, you ain't got to bring him up. You ain't got to bring her up. Spit your game and let that work for you. Stop bringing up who she with or who he with. They ain't even in this equation right now. That's just free game. I'm just saying. So Bridget was able to accurately assess that something was different about Rashida. I said, "Baby, you even glowing a little different. You even glowing a little different, girl." And baby, Rashida be dressed to the nines. First lady, she be dressed to the nines. Nobody can get in touch with Naomi. They don't know where Naomi at. They've been calling the heifer. Everybody been calling her. She is not answering her phone. I'm like, y'all just better go to her house, because the way her mind is set up, she already got the murder plan for Franklin already in motion. I'm gonna need y'all to go handle that. Go throw a wrench in that program, because your sis gonna be going to prison. Damn jail. Prison is where Naomi is going to land if y'all don't go up there and, wreck this plan that she got. Why I got to get you every review. Geneva, bring your ass to this bench. I can't even be cordial with you. I can't even politely ask you to approach the bench. I have to tell you to bring your ass up here now. Hits gravel. Just stand before me and shut up. Baby, Geneva is a hot mess. First of all, ma'am, why are you stalking this woman? Why are you telling this woman, trying to figure out where she's going? I said, this woman has lost her ever loving mind. So she follows this woman. She's on the phone with Rashida. Rashida is telling her to go home. Perfect advice. You ain't even washed your ass from last night. You still have on your same clothes. You can even take your daughter, ride with your husband to take your daughter to school because you need to find out who this woman is that he said was so damn fine. As if it matters to you, Geneva, because it doesn't. And you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. So she follows the woman until she knows where this woman was going. Then she goes home. Rashida tells her that, you know what, you go home, you get dressed, you come see me, I'm going to clear my whole day for you. Rashida now been through absolute hell, but she says, I'm going to clear my day so that I can talk to you. That's how I know Rashida got some before she came to church with Jeff. I already know that. She's in too good of a mood. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I know God is good, but okay. I'm just saying, I ain't saying sex is better than God. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, when you got God along with that thing, baby, you be skipping to your loo. And that's exactly what Rashida was doing in this episode. So Geneva, I ain't done with you. Don't go nowhere. Stay right here. So Geneva goes to this woman's job. You know, our daughters are friends, and I was just wondering if we could get together for a play date. Does my husband have your number? I don't believe so. Okay, yo. They exchange numbers. She pressed record, purposely leaves her phone. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Geneva's good now. Geneva's good. She goes to the car, smoke a little cigarette. I said, so you angry, you mad, you're inquisitive, and you've added nicotine. Bet. Okay. Comes back in. I forgot. I think I left my phone. So when she gets back to the car, she plays it. She overheard the girl saying, you know, I got the strangest visitor. You're not going to believe this, but I tell you when I get home. I said, what is going on? What is really going on? Geneva, I'm not done with you. Why you keep walking away from me? Stand right here. Next, Geneva, Tiffany calls her. She sends her the voicemail. Tiffany like, oh, that's what we doing now? That's what we doing? I said, Tiffany, you're smart. I need you to get on the good foot, and I need you to put your thinking cap on, because your friend is playing right in your face. Javon is playing right in your face. Now, this is the thing about Javon, y'all. This is the thing, okay? Because even though I believe he is playing in Tiffany's face, there is a little incy wincy part of me that believes that he is genuinely attracted to this woman. Even though I know he has his own game plan, I do believe that he is genuinely attracted to Tiffany. Sadly, I believe that Javon would go all the way and have sex with her to make Geneva absolutely jealous to the point that she just can't take it and just spill the beans. What I do not like, amongst, you guys know, and I know some of y'all feel this way too, it's the fact that Geneva is watching her friend fall more and more in like with this man, and she's not doing anything. She's not saying anything. So homeboy Javon comes, Tiffany thinks she about to show this client this house. He's the client, and it's right next door to Geneva. I said, Javon, you are sick, baby. You both, you know what? Both of y'all crazy, and both of y'all deserve each other, because both of y'all stalking. You stalking Geneva. Geneva stalking the woman who she believes that William is attracted to or talking to or cheating on her with, which is absolutely ridiculous. But here we are. So she ends up leaving, and Javon continues to flirt with Tiffany. Says how bad he wants to kiss her, maybe after our date tonight. She says maybe. I said, girl, don't do it. Don't do it, girl. Don't kiss him, because kissing might lead to sex, and that's the last thing that you need. You don't need to share the same penis that your good and nasty friend Geneva has had. Speaking of good and nasty friend, Geneva goes to see Rashida. So they're in this, they're in her office, they're talking. Geneva begins to talk about how amazing Javon is, how absolutely bored she is with William. he does the same things over and over again. But with Javon, she's never had anyone that size. I said, well, hold on, sis. I get it. I get it, girl. I understand. But you still trifling. Why you keep moving? Geneva, stay right here because you trifling. But I understand, sis, having someone who, but just because someone has a big penis don't mean they know how to use it. But sis, I get it. So she begins to tell Rashida all these amazing things about Javon and how great of a man he is. And Rashida burst that bubble by saying, the man who's trying to make you jealous by playing in our best friend's face, that's a good man. And homegirl had to take a seat back because this is who you saying is a good man. Someone who's going to intentionally hurt your friend. And she's already fragile. That's a good man. Then she tried to ask Rashida, so what we gonna do? She'd say, baby, this you. I ain't got nothing to do with this. You are about to lose the best thing that has ever happened to you, which is your husband. A man who genuinely loves you. And this is the thing, right? Just some life lessons. The person that you end up with, the person that you marry, may not be your best sexual experience. That's just life. But you can tell the person what you like. Baby, it's becoming monotonous. We need to change this up a little bit. You know, like, let's add some spice. And there are things you can say without hurting someone's feelings or making them feel like they're not satisfying you. Or even if they're not satisfying you, that's when you put your grown woman panties on and you have that type of conversation. Not step out, not cheat, not fawn over the man who you had an affair with. And the thing about it is, William looked like, and that's the thing, and it made me think about that 80-20 rule. Geneva is with William, who she considers maybe an 80, but Javon shows up and he's a 20 that you missing. So you are willing to leave your husband, the life that you have created, for a man who you feel made you feel so great. And honestly, y'all, I just believe it was the thrill. Now don't get me wrong, Javon is fine, but I don't believe his sex game is all that. I believe it was the thrill of them doing something that was tempting, them doing something that was like wild on the wild side, something that they were not supposed to be doing, and just the excitement that comes from that. But I honestly don't believe that it's like that. And I hope if Geneva steps out on William again and she has sex with Javon, I hope it's the worst experience. I hope it's bad. I hope it's nothing like she remembered, because it's been 6 years ago. It's been 6 years ago. And this the way she sat in Eva's office and began to just tell how great of a lover Javon was and what she wanted. And basically, Rashida asked her, you want to leave your husband that bad? And she said, no. She lying. Geneva is a bald-faced lie. You do want to leave that man. So you're trying to find every opportunity to prove that he's doing something wrong. When I don't believe he is, but that's just the kind of person that Geneva is. She's a horrible, horrible wife. She is a horrible mother, and she is a horrible friend. Geneva, baby, it's never looking good for you. I'm going to need Tyler to sprinkle something good on your ass, because you're just horrible. Now you leave my presence, peasant. I'm done. Bailiff, take her ass to jail. I'm done with her. Now I will say, I thought this was a really great episode. I really did. I'm grateful that we had some conversations with Jeff and Rashida. I'm grateful that we found out certain things that we did not know before. I understand how Rashida can feel, believing that now that Jeff has been made aware of what happened to her, he's taking pity on her and looking at her like she's a victim, and he's not sincere about the things that he's saying. I really believe that he is sincere. I really do. Even though, Jeff, you still on my it list, you ain't all the way at the bottom. You do have the ability to, go over to the other list. But I am so grateful that now we're actually getting the dialogue that we need for things to actually make sense, for us to connect the dots with all these, comings and goings. So I'm glad about that. I'm assuming we're going to see Naomi in the next episode, because there was just nothing from her in this episode here. But overall, I thought this was a good episode. I feel like this probably was my favorite episode thus far. I really do. I am so enjoying Divorce Sisters. I'm so glad that I was wrong. I did give it a side eye. I ain't gonna lie. I gave it a side eye in the beginning before the show actually aired because, like I said, I know how Tyler writes. But I am grateful, and I feel like he's doing a great job with all of these characters. He's doing a great job with the storytelling, and I'm here for it. And I'm glad, those who have been on the ride with me, that y'all are being consistent. I appreciate the kind words. I appreciate your comments, all the new subscribers, the people who are commenting. I greatly appreciate it. Those who are sending me messages, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, I will holler at y'all later, and y'all be safe out there. One.